Have you ever noticed how suddenly your legs feel weaker, or how getting a good night's sleep has become a rare luxury? Maybe you blame it on getting older. After all, that's what everyone says. But what if it's not just age holding you back? So many of us quietly accept these changes as inevitable when, in fact, they're often signs that something important is being overlooked. It's easy to think, this is just how it is now. But what if there's more to the story? In today's video, we'll explore why these common struggles happen and, more importantly, what you can do about them to feel stronger and more vibrant every day. By the end, I'll share a simple habit that many seniors have found life-changing, without giving up the freedom and joy you deserve. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Have you ever sat quietly with a cup of morning coffee, the house peaceful but just a little too silent, and found your mind drifting back over all the seasons of your life? Maybe you think about the paths you took, the ones you didn't, and the many roles you've played. Parent, partner, caregiver, friend, maybe even widow or widower. At this age, it's easy to fall into the habit of simply getting by, making the best of each day without asking yourself what truly brings you happiness. Sometimes, people around you assume your needs have faded with the years, or that your greatest wish is simply to not be a burden. But is that all there is? Is this quiet acceptance what we're meant to settle for, now that the world seems to move a little faster than we do? It's a common scene for many Americans over 65. You wake up, the day stretches out ahead, and you wonder if maybe you should fill the hours with errands, a call to an old friend, or just another episode of a favorite show. Some days, loneliness creeps in, and you wonder if this is just how life is supposed to be. Maybe you even catch yourself thinking, at my age, I should be grateful for what I have and not ask for more. But deep inside, a quiet voice might ask, is this truly enough? Is this how I want to spend the precious years that remain? What if that assumption, that happiness after 65 is simply about making do, was wrong? What if, instead of settling for less, this is exactly the time in life when you can ask for more? Not in a way that's demanding or selfish, but in a way that finally honors your needs, your values, and your heart. What if finding companionship, or even love, after 65 isn't about lowering your expectations to fit your circumstances, but raising them just enough to honor who you've become? Let's pause and challenge that familiar idea that, as we get older, we must accept any kind of companionship just to avoid being alone. There's a quiet myth in our culture that the elderly should be grateful for any company, that you should never complain, never hope for something better, because at least you're not alone. But here's a question to consider. After a lifetime of learning who you are, of weathering heartbreaks and celebrating joys, why should you accept less than what truly fulfills you? Why should the last chapters of your story be written in small, unremarkable lines when you still have so much wisdom, humor, and life to share? The truth is, by 65, you have traveled through storms and sunshine alike. You've picked yourself up after losses, and you've celebrated moments of pure joy. You know the value of time. More importantly, you know your own heart in a way you couldn't have at 25 or even 45. That's not something to hide or apologize for. That's your greatest strength. Science tells us that our sense of self grows stronger with age. A study from Stanford University found that older adults are more likely to know what they want and less likely to compromise on their deepest values. The years have given you clarity. Maybe you want quiet evenings reading with someone who respects your need for space. Maybe you want adventures, laughter, or simply a gentle, reliable friendship. The point is, you know what you want, and you shouldn't have to apologize for it. But here's another important truth. Many seniors are afraid. Not just afraid of being alone, but afraid of what might happen if they let someone new into their lives. There's a real fear of losing independence, of feeling obligated, or worse, of being hurt again. Some have watched friends get taken advantage of or seen relationships that brought more pain than joy. Others worry about adult children judging their choices or society saying, "Why bother? Isn't it too late for new beginnings?" These fears are real, and they're not to be dismissed. Let me share the story of Edna, a woman I met at a local community center in Ohio. She was 71, widowed for over a decade. For years, Edna filled her days with gardening, volunteering, and doting on her grandchildren. Everyone admired her for keeping busy, but inside, she longed for more. She missed sharing Sunday morning pancakes with someone, or having a hand to hold during stormy nights. Friends encouraged her to get out there, but Edna hesitated. She worried about losing her cherished routines or being judged by her grown children. But as time passed, Edna realized she deserved more than just filling time. With gentle courage, she joined a book club, her way of stepping into new connections on her terms. There, she met Tom, a retired school principal who loved jazz and respected her independence. Their friendship grew slowly, founded on mutual respect and understanding. What mattered most was that neither Edna nor Tom ever felt pressured to be anything but themselves. They spent time together when they wanted and retreated into their hobbies when needed. It wasn't about compromise. It was about comfort, trust, and genuine companionship. Edna's story isn't unique, but it's a powerful reminder. At this age, you're allowed to set the rules. Companionship, whether friendship or romance, should never cost you your self-respect or peace of mind. You don't have to say yes to every invitation or accept relationships that drain your energy. Instead, choose what feels right. If you love long walks and quiet evenings, find someone who enjoys those things too. If you value independence, be clear about it. If you want lively conversation or to travel, seek out those who share your curiosity. There is no one-size-fits-all way to connect after 65, only what fits your life and brings you joy. So, how do you put this into practice? Start by taking a gentle inventory of your own heart. What brings you happiness now? What drains you? Make a list, on paper, in a journal, or just in your mind, of what you value most in relationships. It could be kindness, humor, loyalty, or shared faith. Maybe it's the ability to talk about your grandkids or just sit in comfortable silence. Then, permit yourself to pursue only those relationships that align with your values. If you're ready, join a local club or community activity. There are endless options, from bridge nights at the library to nature walks or art classes. You might try a senior-friendly dating site or app, but do it with the confidence that you're not desperate, you're discerning. You're not asking for too much. You're finally asking for what you need. The best part? When you approach relationships this way, you attract people who respect you for exactly who you are. You become a magnet for genuine connections, not because you settled, but because you stood firm in your values. And in doing so, you model for your family, and maybe even for your friends, that life after 65 can be full of choice, dignity, and love. If you take away just one message today, let it be this: you are worthy of joy, comfort, and connection that lift you, not weigh you down. Don't shrink your needs to fit someone else's expectations. You've spent a lifetime learning who you are. Now is your time to live that truth fully, bravely, and without compromise. So, as you sip your next cup of coffee or take your evening walk, remember, these years are yours to shape. You get to decide what kind of companionship, friendship, or love comes into your life. It's not about settling, but about choosing, freely, wisely, and with all the heart you've gained through the years. And that, more than anything, is the real gift of growing older. How many times have you heard someone say, "At our age, love is just about having someone to help out," or real romance? That ship has sailed after 65? Maybe you've even caught yourself quietly accepting those words, letting them shape your expectations about companionship in your later years. These ideas are so common that many of us never even question them. We assume, as the years pass, that love must change, shrink even, becoming less about passion or joy and more about convenience, care, or simply filling the silence. But does it have to be that way? Imagine this. A woman named Martha, widowed in her late 60s, goes out with friends for lunch. During the meal, the topic turns to relationships. One friend says with a laugh, "I'd love a partner just to help with the yard work and doctor visits." Another chimes in, "At our age, it's just nice to have someone in the house, even if you argue over the TV remote." Martha smiles politely, but inside, she wonders, is that all there is left to hope for? She remembers the laughter she once shared, the warmth of long conversations, and the thrill of learning something new together. Is wanting that again really so unreasonable, or even possible? This isn't just Martha's question. It's a quiet, persistent thought for so many people over 65. And it goes deeper. There's an even more subtle assumption in American culture that, after a certain age, wanting more from a relationship is somehow greedy, silly, or even inappropriate. Society can be quick to dismiss romantic desires in older adults. Family members may roll their eyes or joke, "Oh, mom's got a boyfriend," as if longing for love was something you should have outgrown. Television and movies rarely show seniors as the heroes of love stories, reinforcing the idea that real connection belongs to the young. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. But let's ask an honest question. Why? Why do we limit our dreams and possibilities just because the calendar has turned a few more years? Why do we let old stereotypes write the rules for the most personal part of our lives? More importantly, why should you, or anyone, settle for a relationship that doesn't bring genuine joy, laughter, and meaning, just because that's what's expected? Science and psychology both tell us that our need for emotional closeness and fulfillment does not fade with age. Research from the University of Michigan found that older adults who experience affectionate relationships, whether romantic or platonic, enjoy better health, sharper minds, and even longer lives. Emotional connection isn't just nice to have. It's essential for well-being at any age. And yet, the world keeps whispering, don't ask for too much. Be grateful for the company. Let's flip that idea on its head. Imagine if, instead of settling for companionship based on convenience or fear of loneliness, you permitted yourself to want more. What if the later years of life are the perfect time to rediscover what truly brings you alive? To seek out relationships that are rich with kindness, understanding, and yes, even a little romance. Why can't relationships after 65 be both fulfilling and free? Why should you make compromises that leave your heart unsatisfied when you've already learned so much about what matters? Let's talk about freedom, the kind that comes not from being alone, but from being with someone who respects your independence, your opinions, and your routines. Older adults have the remarkable ability to define relationships on their terms. No one is expecting you to move in together, blend families, or give up the life you love. More and more seniors are building relationships with living apart together arrangements, keeping their own homes and rhythms, but sharing companionship, laughter, and affection when they choose. Consider Bill and Sandra, both divorced in their 70s. They met at a photography club, where their first connection was over a shared joke about bad coffee and blurry snapshots. Neither was looking for someone to cook or clean for them. Both valued their freedom and routines. Over time, they found a rhythm, sharing dinners twice a week, going to local concerts, sometimes even taking short road trips together. When friends asked if they planned to settle down, Bill would laugh and say, "We already are settled, just on our terms." Their partnership was about mutual enjoyment, not obligation. They gave each other the gift of choice, each day, deciding again to connect, without pressure or expectation. Stories like Bill and Sandra's are happening across America, often quietly, sometimes against the backdrop of skeptical family or cultural misunderstanding. It's not unusual for adult children to feel protective, worrying about scams or heartbreak. But that shouldn't stop you from seeking a real connection. A modern view of love in later life embraces the fact that older adults can be wise, selective, and empowered in their relationships, often more so than in their youth. Of course, opening your mind to this new vision of love doesn't always come easily. You might feel the weight of old disappointments or the sting of past losses. It's natural to worry that you'll never find someone who truly gets you, or to fear the awkwardness of starting again. But remember, courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward despite it. And after 65, you carry the unique courage that comes from years of living, loving, and learning from every twist and turn. So, how can you begin to open your heart to a new possibility? Start by letting go of the need to please others or fit anyone else's idea of what love should look like. Permit yourself to dream again. Think about what truly matters to you now. Companionship, laughter, shared interests, or even the gentle comfort of a hand to hold. Allow yourself to hope for a connection that brings lightness, not just duty. You don't have to apologize for wanting a relationship that makes your heart sing, even if it doesn't look like anyone else's. It's okay to want someone who challenges you, who respects your independence, who shares your passions, or who simply sits beside you in silence, content. The world is changing, and more people are realizing that life after 65 is not a winding down, but a new beginning, an invitation to redefine what love and partnership can be. If you're not sure where to start, begin with community. Join a club, take a class, volunteer, or reconnect with old friends. Be open, but also be discerning. Trust your instincts and remember that your experiences have given you the wisdom to recognize what feels right. If you find a connection, romantic or otherwise, that uplifts and inspires you, embrace it with gratitude and courage. In the end, love in later life is not about compromise or just getting by. It's about honoring your desires and creating space for joy, freedom, and real connection. Don't let outdated beliefs hold you back from something beautiful. You've earned the right to love in your way, on your terms, and to welcome a new chapter filled with possibility. So, as you reflect on your own life, ask yourself, why not you? Why not now? Why not let go of old assumptions and open the door to a love that is both fulfilling and free? The world may not always understand, but your heart knows what it needs. And maybe, just maybe, the best is yet to come. If you've ever hesitated to open your heart again, whether to romance, deep friendship, or even just sharing time with someone new, you're not alone. So many people over 65 have quietly wondered, is it too late for love? And if not, what does love even look like at this stage of life? We grew up with certain ideas of partnership, that it means two people becoming one, living together, making sacrifices, maybe even losing a bit of themselves along the way. But there's a new wave of wisdom emerging among older adults today, a fresh way to love, built on respect, empathy, and freedom rather than compromise or obligation. Let's start by painting a scene many will recognize. You've spent decades tending to the needs of a spouse, raising children, maybe even caring for aging parents. 4 years, you put yourself second, or third, or not at all. Now, in your late 60s, 70s, or 80s, you find yourself with time, maybe for the first time, to ask, what do I want? The world might expect you to shrink your dreams, but why not dream bigger? This is your moment. First and foremost, the new way to love after 65 is about respecting personal freedom and space. In the past, love often meant constant togetherness. But today, many seniors are thriving by creating relationships where each person's individuality is honored. You get to keep your routines, your hobbies, and your private time, whether that means Saturday mornings at the farmer's market or quiet afternoons spent reading on the porch. Instead of feeling guilty for wanting time alone, older adults are discovering that a healthy relationship is one where space is celebrated, not feared. As Dr. Susan Blakely, a gerontologist from New Jersey, puts it, after 65, people often know themselves better and are less afraid to ask for what they need. That's a strength, not a weakness. The second hallmark is seeking empathy and true sharing, not just agreeing with each other for the sake of peace. We've all known couples who nod politely at the dinner table, never rocking the boat. But the new way to love is about sharing real thoughts and feelings, even if they don't always line up. It's about listening with genuine curiosity, asking questions, and offering comfort, rather than pretending everything is always perfect. Empathy means caring about each other's joys and hurts, not just exchanging pleasantries. In this chapter of life, emotional honesty is a gift. Next is the gentle art of accepting differences without trying to change one another. When you're young, it's easy to believe you can fix someone or mold them into your ideal. But with age comes the wisdom to know that a real connection is built on acceptance. You may love the mountains, and your companion might love the ocean. Maybe you're a social butterfly, and they're more introverted. That's okay. The goal is not to erase the differences, but to celebrate them, to say, I respect who you are, and I hope you'll do the same for me. This acceptance brings a deep sense of peace and freedom, allowing each person to shine as themselves. Another key ingredient is prioritizing quality over quantity. In our youth, relationships might have been about filling every moment or being surrounded by a big circle of friends. Now, it's the meaningful conversations, the thoughtful gestures, and the quiet evenings together that matter most. You might see a close friend once a week, or chat with a companion over coffee every so often, but those moments are rich, deep, and satisfying. There's no need to chase after endless connections or keep up appearances. What matters is the joy and authenticity you feel in each interaction. This new way to love isn't just theory, it's happening all around us. Take Roger and Helen, both widowed, who met at a local gardening club. They didn't rush into anything. For months, they tended flowers side by side, swapping stories about grandchildren and favorite recipes. Over time, they found a special companionship. Helen says, "We both love our independence. We live in our own homes, travel separately sometimes, but we always look forward to our Thursday dinners. There's no pressure, just joy." Their story isn't unusual anymore. It's part of a quiet revolution among older adults, choosing relationships that fit their real lives. So, what forms can this new companionship take? The options are as varied as the people themselves. Close friendships and life partners. Many find a best friend who becomes their chosen family. These relationships are deep, supportive, and sometimes even more stable than romance, rooted in years of shared experience and gentle understanding. Whether you live together or apart, these bonds are treasured. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Romantic relationships without heavy commitments. Not everyone wants to remarry or share a household. Some older adults find love that's free from the legal or financial ties that once seemed necessary. Living apart together is a growing trend, where partners keep their own spaces, finances, and routines, but meet for companionship, affection, and fun. There's no script, just mutual respect and choice. Social groups, clubs, and community activities. For some, the path to connection is through shared activities. Book clubs, walking groups, senior choirs, church committees, travel clubs, the possibilities are endless. These communities offer friendship, laughter, and the safety of belonging. For many, a social circle becomes a lifeline, preventing loneliness and enriching life with new stories, perspectives, and adventures. If you're wondering how to begin, take it one gentle step at a time. Start by joining a club that matches your interests, volunteering at a local charity, or saying yes to a coffee date. Don't be afraid to try online communities designed for older adults. There are safe, supportive options out there. Remember, you don't need to rush or settle. You have the right to shape your connections in a way that honors your story. You might meet someone like yourself, a person who treasures their morning routine, who loves a slow walk in the park, or who wants to spend time together but not every day. Or you might find a friend who opens your mind to something new, teaching you to bake bread, paint, or even dance. Whatever form your connections take, let them bring you joy, comfort, and a sense of belonging. Before you know it, you may discover, as so many have, that love after 65 isn't about compromise at all. It's about freedom. It's about saying, "This is who I am now, and I welcome the chance to share my days on my terms, with kindness and respect." The old rules no longer apply. You get to write your own. So, as you consider your journey, ask yourself, what kind of relationship would truly nourish your heart? What do you want more of? Laughter, support, adventure, or simply a quiet, steady presence? Permit yourself to seek it. This new way to love is not only possible, it's waiting for you, right here, right now, with all the warmth and possibility you deserve. And always remember, at any age, you are worthy of love that feels like freedom, friendship that feels like home, and connection that lets your spirit shine. The next chapter is yours to write. If you're like many people over 65, you may have spent years caring for others, raising children, supporting friends, or even looking after a spouse who's now gone. In all that time, you may have set your own needs aside. Now, as life opens up with a little more time and freedom, the idea of reaching out, making new friends, or even finding love again might feel both exciting and daunting. Where do you even begin? How do you take those first steps, especially if you haven't dated, made new friends, or put yourself out there in years? Let's start by saying this: there's no right or wrong way to start. Everyone's journey is different. The most important thing is to move at your own pace, with kindness toward yourself. One of the simplest and most rewarding ways to meet new people is through social activities. Maybe you've always wanted to try ballroom dancing but never had the chance. Or perhaps you love reading and could join a local book club. Community centers, libraries, churches, and senior groups offer a wide variety of activities. Walking groups, cooking classes, photography workshops, or even just a casual coffee morning. The beauty of these gatherings is that everyone there is looking to connect, just like you. You don't need to be the best dancer or know the most about literature. Showing up with a smile and an open heart is more than enough. Let me tell you about Sam, who retired from a long career in construction and moved to a new town to be closer to his daughter. At first, he felt isolated. He didn't know a soul besides his family. But he loved to cook, so he signed up for a local Cooking for One class at the community center. It was a small group, mostly women, but Sam found himself laughing, swapping stories, and sharing tips about his favorite chili recipe. Before he knew it, he was invited to a monthly potluck, and those acquaintances soon became true friends. The key was simply taking the first step, even when it felt awkward or a little intimidating. If you're interested in romantic companionship, today's world offers more possibilities than ever. Senior-friendly dating apps and online platforms are designed for people at your stage of life. It might feel strange at first. Maybe you're nervous about technology, or the idea of online dating sounds a bit out there. But these spaces are full of people seeking friendship, love, or simply someone to share a cup of coffee with. There are well-known apps like Silver Singles, Our Time, and even some local Facebook groups focused on connecting older adults. Here's a gentle tip. Ask a tech-savvy family member or friend to help you set up your profile, and always trust your gut. Use clear, recent photos, and be honest about what you're looking for. You don't have to share everything about yourself right away. Start with a friendly conversation, and meet new people in safe, public places until you feel comfortable. A dear friend of mine, Linda, lost her husband in her early 70s. For years, she focused on her grandchildren and gardening. One day, at her granddaughter's encouragement, she created a profile on a senior dating app. Linda was honest. She wasn't looking for marriage, just someone to go to the movies with, share a meal, and talk about books. She ended up meeting George, who lived 2 towns over. They took things slow, met at the farmer's market, and over time, built a relationship that was comfortable and joyful. No pressure, just companionship on their terms. Whatever method you choose, joining a club, attending community events, or connecting online, it's important to set clear personal boundaries. When we're younger, we sometimes say yes out of politeness or pressure. But now, you've earned the right to be honest about what you want and need. If you enjoy quiet evenings rather than big social events, say so. If you're not ready for a serious relationship, make that clear. And if someone doesn't respect your boundaries, remember that it's a reflection on them, not you. Don't feel you have to rush into anything. Some people click instantly, while others take weeks or months to feel comfortable. Permit yourself to move slowly. If you go to a new group and it doesn't feel right, you don't have to go back. If you try an app and it's not for you, that's perfectly fine. You're in charge of your journey now. One of the most important foundations for building new relationships is taking care of your own physical and mental health. When you feel your best, whatever that means for you, you're naturally more confident and open. Make time for regular exercise, even if it's just a daily walk. Eat nourishing meals, get your checkups, and make rest a priority. Mental health is just as important. Spend time doing things you enjoy, talk to someone if you're feeling low, and practice kindness toward yourself. Remember, confidence doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from showing up as yourself, knowing you are worthy of connection and love. Sometimes, things won't go as planned. You might attend a gathering and feel out of place, or reach out to someone who isn't interested in friendship or romance. It's easy to feel discouraged in those moments, but remember, patience and self-compassion are your greatest allies. Building new connections, especially after a lifetime of routines or loss, takes time. Every step you take, no matter how small, is a sign of courage. A lovely woman named Doris once told me, "The first book club I went to, I almost didn't go back. No one talked to me much, and I felt invisible. But I went again the next week, and by the third meeting, someone asked about my favorite author. Now, those ladies are some of my closest friends." It's often persistence, not instant results, that leads to the most rewarding bonds. It's also okay to take breaks and rest if things feel overwhelming. You don't have to be on all the time or always searching for new connections. Allow yourself quiet days, time alone, and space to recharge. You're not running out of time. You're building a new chapter at your own pace. Here are some simple ideas to get you started. Make a list of activities you've always wanted to try, and look for local classes or events. Reach out to a neighbor or acquaintance for coffee. Volunteer for a cause you care about. Giving back is a wonderful way to meet like-minded people. Join a fitness group, walking club, or even a meditation class. Explore online groups that match your hobbies or interests. Ask family members or friends if they know someone who might want to join you at a concert, museum, or sporting event. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. The important thing is to remain open to new experiences, to new people, and, most of all, to yourself. Trust that your journey will unfold just as it should, and that every small step is meaningful. As you start exploring, remember, you are not alone. There are millions of Americans in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond who are opening their hearts to new friendships and love. You're part of a generation rewriting the story of what it means to grow older. You have wisdom, humor, kindness, and so much to share. So go gently, be patient, and never forget. You deserve connection, joy, and the comfort of knowing that it's never too late to let new people into your life. Your next great friendship, adventure, or even love story might be just around the corner. All it takes is that first, gentle step. For many years, Robert's life followed a comforting rhythm. He and his wife, Ellen, spent their days gardening, taking long walks in the park, and sharing quiet evenings with their favorite old movies. When Ellen passed away just after their 48th wedding anniversary, Robert's world fell silent. Their house, once filled with laughter and the soft hum of Ellen's favorite songs, became an echo chamber. Friends and family reached out at first, but life pulled them away, and Robert soon found himself staring at empty chairs and reliving memories that, instead of soothing him, made his loneliness sharper. At 71, Robert wondered if it was possible to truly start over. He was grateful for the life he had shared with Ellen, but he also felt a nagging ache, the sense that his best days were behind him, that happiness belonged to the past. Simple tasks, like cooking breakfast or reading the newspaper, brought reminders of loss. Evenings felt impossibly long. The thought of reaching out to someone new seemed almost like betraying the life he and Ellen had built. He'd tell himself, maybe this is just how life is supposed to feel now. But deep down, he wanted something more, a friend, a reason to look forward to tomorrow. One autumn morning, after weeks of isolation, Robert noticed a flyer at the grocery store for a community storytelling group. At first, he hesitated. After all, what would he say? Who would care about the ramblings of an old man? Still, something inside nudged him forward. The following Thursday, he found himself in a circle of strangers, hands trembling as he listened to others share their stories. Some joyful, some heartbreaking, all real. Slowly, week after week, Robert shared bits of his own life. Tales of growing up in Minnesota, his first job, the early days with Ellen. The group listened, laughed, and sometimes even cried with him. It was in this circle that Robert met Margaret, a retired teacher who had lost her husband several years before. Margaret's spirit was gentle but quietly fierce. She spoke about her struggles, how she missed the sound of another person's voice in the house, how she feared growing invisible in a world that moved so quickly. There was no rush between them, no pressure. Their friendship grew with each shared story and walked to the corner cafe after meetings. Margaret respected Robert's need for space, and Robert admired Margaret's independence. They talked about their families, their fears, and their hopes for the years ahead. As winter melted into spring, Robert felt his heart slowly reopening. He and Margaret became each other's confidants, not to fill a void or replace lost love, but to add something new and beautiful to their lives. Their connection was founded on honesty, respect, and a shared understanding that neither wanted to lose themselves in another person. There were no demands to move in together or change routines. Instead, they celebrated their differences. Margaret loved books, Robert loved classic cars, and both cherished long walks and deep conversation. The journey was not without bumps. Sometimes Robert still felt guilty about moving on. Sometimes he was afraid to hope for happiness again. But Margaret always reminded him, we honor those we've lost by living well, not by closing our hearts. With time, Robert realized that opening up to new friendship and, eventually, to love did not mean letting go of his past. It meant expanding his heart to allow for joy, gratitude, and new memories alongside the old. Now, at 73, Robert's days look different. He wakes up with anticipation, looking forward to morning coffee with Margaret, reading her handwritten notes, and planning trips to places neither of them had visited before. He still visits Ellen's favorite rose bush in the yard, but he no longer stands there with sorrow. Instead, he feels gratitude for the love that was, and for the love that is. Robert knows he didn't have to compromise his values or become someone new to find a connection again. All he needed was the courage to say yes to life, just as he was. Robert often tells friends at the storytelling group, "You're never too old to love, be loved, and live a life you deserve." His journey is a testament to every person watching this video. Loss may shape us, but it does not define our future. Opening your heart, even after pain, is not just possible. It's a gift waiting for you whenever you're ready. So, if you're watching this and wondering whether happiness and connection are still within reach, let Robert's story be a gentle reminder. There is no expiration date on joy, and the life you deserve can begin at any moment you choose to open your heart. As we come to the end of this conversation, remember this. Growing older doesn't mean giving up on love, friendship, or meaningful connection. It means understanding yourself more deeply, honoring your needs, and choosing relationships that bring you joy and peace without compromise. You've lived a rich life filled with lessons, laughter, and love, and those experiences have prepared you to build new bonds that truly reflect who you are today. It's natural to feel hesitation or fear when stepping into something new, especially after loss or disappointment. But courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward despite it. Every small step you take toward opening your heart, whether it's joining a community group, reconnecting with old friends, or exploring new friendships and romance, is a victory in itself. You deserve to be surrounded by people who respect your freedom, share your values, and celebrate the wonderful person you've become. Remember, the quality of your relationships matters far more than quantity. Choose those that uplift you, make you smile, and honor your journey. So, take your time. Be patient and gentle with yourself. And know this, it's never too late to invite love and companionship back into your life. The new chapter waiting for you can be filled with warmth, laughter, and the kind of connection that nourishes your soul. Thank you for sharing this time with me. If this video has inspired you, I invite you to share your thoughts or stories in the comments below. Let's continue this journey together. And if you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe, because everyone deserves to feel loved and connected at every age. Your story isn't finished yet, it's just beginning.